When your mom leaves you cute notes that are really just chores. It's a nice spring day. It's a little rainy, sprinkly, misting. It's misting outside. So if you haven't guessed thus far in the 4 days, Angela and I live in farm country. We're from the small town of New Berlin. Some people would be like, New Berlin? No. No, that's too fancy. The biggest city around here would be driving 2 hours and then you'd be in Albany. If you drive an hour and a half, you'd be in Syracuse. My 45-minute commute is to Cooperstown. And yes, I'm sitting on a hay bale in my barn. We make creative choices sometimes. Sorry for this vertical hot mess, but looking shiny. Look at that. They waxed it before they sent it home. I think it's supposed to rain like all day, so that's gonna be great. We have to talk about it. It is one of my favorite Stephen King movies, one of my favorite movies probably of all time. And they're remaking it, well, they're doing an adaptation of it, and it's coming out in September. So I have thoughts, I have concerns, and I'm bringing this to work today because my friend Shelly has not seen it. So I drove a little bit, and the rain has definitely picked up. Still aggressively raining. Almost to work now. It's 5:30 and it's still raining. Like, it even got worse. It just got worse.
Amy showed up to get my footage and I had nothing because I've had a day. So remember how I said I'm not a morning person and like I hate getting up in the morning and it's like the worst thing ever and I'm really bad at it? Yeah, I got up with just enough time to like make a cup of coffee, get dressed, and get in the car and go to work. Amy showed you her bed and it's all nice and pretty and like this is mine. This isn't even because I got up late. This is just, I don't make my bed. I rarely ever make my bed, and if I do, it's just like fling the covers back, like so. There we go, it's made. So I figured I'd show you some of my books today. I've got a whole bunch, like we said before. They're spread out. This is the first bookshelf. I've got some manga, I've got some YA, some J, nonfiction. I've got like a whole mix. Here's one of my favorite series, the Series of Unfortunate Events. I don't have every book. I have most of the books. I will eventually fill it in, I think, because I love it so much. The ones that I haven't read yet are on their sides. These are some that I want to read. I love the covers because it's these lovely dresses. Probably this is one of my favorite reads I've ever done. I think we read a portion of this in English class in high school or middle school or something, and then I was like, yo, I want to read the rest of it, and it was amazing. It's one of my all-time favorites. I read it every year, The Witch of Blackbird Pond. This is my baby. This is new. This is beautiful. I love it. There's doors, and they pop open real nice. Oh, God. We have some of my history books from college. I took a class just on FDR, and that was fun. This is one of my prized possessions. It's a very old copy of Mice and Men. I don't know if it's the oldest book I have, simply because I have this set of poems by Tennyson that was my great-grandmother's. I think this is my favorite book simply because it was my great-grandmother's. I never was big on poetry, but I've marked in it my favorite poem from the collection. I'll pick it up every now and again and I'll read some poems and think about Grandma. Here we go. This is one of my big time authors, John Green. I was really sad because recently I found out that one of my favorite booktubers does not like John Green. But I get it. It's the writing style. Slammed actually has a whole bunch of songs mentioned that are Avett Brothers songs, which I thought was hilarious because the first time I saw one I was like, Amy, isn't that your band? And she was like, that is my band. That's day 4 of VEDA. Let me know what books I have that you liked, what you want to read, if you have any book recommendations for me.
Like I said earlier, I have some thoughts about it. The new adaptation is coming out in September. And I saw the trailer a couple days ago, like a week ago maybe at this point. And holy freaking A, man, it looks so much scarier than the first one. To me, the first one was more of a suspenseful one. I've heard tale that this one is more like the book, which I haven't read yet. But my friend Juno says it's way more gory than the original. I don't like that. I don't like that horror movies are becoming gore-centric instead of more like, I like the suspenseful ones. From the trailer, it didn't look gross. It did look mad scary. Like, Pennywise looks way scarier than he did before. In general, like, I haven't read all of these, but I have read a chunk. I like Stephen King. The best Stephen King story that I've read, I think, has to be 11/22/63 because I'm a big fan of the Kennedys. Hold on. Oswald's Tale, Unfinished Life, Profiles in Courage, A Hero for Our Time, and then this cool thing came in A Hero for Our Time. It was just in there. The Kennedys. It was the one with Greg Kinnear as JFK, so I really like that one. Last thing on this day 4 of VEDA is I listened to Ear Biscuits on Monday, and Rhett and Link were talking to one of their beekeeper buddies, and they were talking about the importance of bees and buying local honey. This is our local honey. This is G's Bees, which any of you from here know that it's Mr. George. Yes, that Mr. George. He makes honey and maple syrup. He's like the Renaissance man of making natural things. So yeah, that was the last thing. Just wanted to get that in there. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.